namely because they have a lot of experts evaluating the evidence and coming to the same conclusion. That doesn't mean that it is the popularity that makes it true.
Exactly. And by the way, that's Klingon, I guess, I found out. Tells you how much I know about Klingon. All I know is grok, which is that stuff that they eat, which was the little slimy little serpents. But yeah, so this is actually Klingon. So I don't speak that. I don't think Kyle does. So we're probably butchering that to no end. I like to have a translation of that because I like to know what he actually said. It's probably like, fuck you guys, you guys all suck, that kind of shit, which would be awesome for misandering. But I don't know what any of these things mean, my friend. But anyways, yeah, so with the argumenting ad populum, they do think that scientific consensus is that for some strange reason, even though it's explicitly said that it's not. And also they seem to will throw out an ad populum fallacy when you say, look I've talked to a lot of people, just lay people. They seem to, agree and understand the argument. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, if I say I talked to a bunch of people and they all agree, therefore I'm right, now you have an ad populum argument, right?
Yes.
Same thing if I said, Justin Bieber sold a lot of albums, therefore he must be a good singer. That's ad populum, right? Because that doesn't necessarily mean he's a good singer. Right. So it's when you draw these conclusions, when you draw an inference that something's true or false, that's more likely when you're going to have an error, right? But if I just say, hey, evolution is a confirmed model and it's most likely the best explanation, or it is the best explanation we have for it, it doesn't necessarily have to be the case because it has falsifiability. That's not ad populum.
No.
And let's see, Echidna 5 again must be liking this. Says this for Duffer, my avatar, but don't say it. Oh, never mind. He tells me not to read something out loud that I was about to read out loud. Don't do that. Woof.
I have.
That's funny.
I just want to. Was that all the super chats so far, Steve? Because I have something that I want to. I kind of want to do with the two of you real quick. Okay, so I put together a list. Haha. Of there are
Freezing.
four. There are 4 real fallacies here, and then there are 4 false fallacies here. So Steve and Martymer, we'll see which of you two can pick out the ones that are real and the ones that are false. All right. Alphabet soup. Argue. Oh shit. Trust your gut. Dog whistle. The F-bomb. I wish I had a magic wand. Infotainment. Oops. And the scoring.
Okay, we'll have to
go through one more time.
The F-bomb is a real fallacy. Well, go through each one because all I heard was like F-bomb. Alphabet soup.
Okay. Alphabet soup.
That would be word. Is that like word salad? Well, if that means like word salad, then yes. Okay.
All right.
Well,
Martymer, you think it's real?
Things like have like 1,000 different names.
Yeah, I seem to recognize it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's either like word salad or if to like an ad hom attack.
It is a the alphabet soup is. Let me find my page. The alphabet soup is a corrupt, modern implicit fallacy from ethos in which a person inappropriately overuses acronyms, abbreviations, form numbers, and arcane insider shop talk. That's alphabet soup.
Interesting. I mean, this, like I said, some of these have like 50 different names.
Doesn't really tell me why it's a fallacy, but yeah, exactly.
I don't know what's a fallacy from that either. I mean, if you use those terminologies as an ad hom,
it seems to be going in the direction of argument from gibberish. Which is basically
it says right
or nonsense, nonsensicality or word salad, right?
It says
right
here
a bunch of nonsense. Therefore, I'm right. You're expecting the opponent not to be able to analyze it, so they just accept the conclusion. It's what Deepak Chopra does.
It's also known as argumentation for boss.
You use all of those to prove to an audience that she speaks their language and is one of them, and to shut down, confuse, or impress outsiders. So an example of that would be it's not uncommon for a K-12 with ASD to be both GT and LD. I guess it's using the lingo based on whatever subject that you're trying to convey in an effort to win the audience over.
When you're talking to someone who or arguing against someone who has no understanding of the jargon, so
right.
they just have no choice but to accept it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I totally can see that. You know who does that? Like William Lane Craig would do something like that, right? Because they throw out these things where it's like, hey, nobody's going to understand this, therefore it must be the case. I had somebody do that the other day. A Thomist, right? Thomists love doing that. People that go to Thomism, they love throwing out words like actuality and potentiality and quality and all these other words in this esoteric type terminology, thinking that the other person won't know enough about the topic to even try to refute it. And I think that's I can see how it could be a fallacy, but it's more disingenuous than anything else, because if you're purposely using those terminologies just to confuse people, then you're not having a discussion. You're not having a dialectic at that point, right? You want people to understand you. So why would you go out of your way to use terminology that they don't understand?
Or you're playing to win.
Well, I don't get it. But anyways, what was the next one? Dog whistle? Yes, that's used in politics frequently. Dog whistle politics, man. That's like one of the most common things people use when they you want
to explain? I'm not familiar with it.
I hear this one a lot in politics.
As a fallacy, I'm not familiar with it.
It is an extreme version of reductionism and sloganeering in the public sphere, a contemporary fallacy of logos and pathos in which a brief phrase or slogan of the hour, for an example, abortion, the 1%, 9/11, Zionism, Islamic terrorism, fascism. So yeah, I guess it's just
it's supposed to have a rise. These words have a like a implied thing to them because they've been utilized in such a way, right? When you use a specific racist word, everybody knows that's a racist word. But other words that are not overtly racist, but they mean something that most people would understand to be either racist or have appeal to an emotion type thing, that's when they use dog whistle politics, because you know what a person's implying, even though they're not directly saying it, to try to raise the ire or the base.
Yeah. Okay.
Trump gets accused of that a lot. A lot. The people in the media accuse him of that all the time.
Sure. He does. Yeah. Well, I mean, he just called the people from like Guatemala, it's like that, invaders. That's dog whistle politics, man.
The next one is the F-bomb. Is that a fallacy?
Yeah, that's definitely one.
Martymer?
I don't know what it refers to in the context of fallacies.
Well, the F-bomb is a fallacy, and that would be it is an adolescent fallacy of pathos attempting to defend or strengthen one's argument with unrelated, sexual, obscene, vulgar, crude, or profane language.
Yeah. That would be a fallacy. Yeah.
And by the way, what I did was I went through the master list on this website of fallacies, and there are literally almost 100.
Oh, there's more than I can remember. There's more fallacies I can ever remember in my life.
Yeah. I've seen lists with like 300 or something.
Yeah.
Of course, many of them.
But we got to remember most of
different names for the same things.
Thank you. Exactly. That's the problem.
There are very subtle differences between them. So, yeah.
I wish I had a magic wand.
Never heard of it.
It sounds like something I remember reading,
but unfortunately, I don't know. Is a fallacy if that's what it refers to.
Is that something you want to go back and change time, or you want to change something in your argument, or you regret saying something that you may have wished you would have like said differently or something?
Sort of. It's the fallacy of regretfully and falsely proclaiming oneself powerless to change a bad or objectionable situation over which one has power. For example, what can we do about gas prices? As Secretary of Energy, I wish I had a magic wand, but I don't. Shrug.
Oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense. So basically, they're not even addressing the argument, I think, at that point. They're just saying, I wish I could change this, but I can't, so therefore, whatever. Okay, that makes sense.
We got two more. We'll go to Martymer first here. Infotainment. Yeah. Do you think infotainment is a fallacy?
I don't see how it could be.
I happen to love this one, actually.
It probably is,
yes.
because I'm not familiar with how the word is used in that context.
You probably wouldn't.
Yeah,
You probably wouldn't. This is something unless
I
you
tried
really
to find the
know.
ones that were rare, like the ones on this list. I tried to pick out the ones that I think would be the most.
I can tell. I can.
Well, we have the reason we know this one is we actually have experience with this particular fallacy indirectly.
This is my favorite. This is my favorite.
Yeah.
The infotainment fallacy is a very corrupt and dangerous modern media-driven fallacy that deliberately and knowingly stirs in facts, news, falsities, and outright lies with entertainment, a mixture usually concocted for specific base, ideological, and profit-making motives, i.e. InfoWars.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Alex Jones, baby.
Okay. Yeah.
Now you got to admit that's a neologism. That is such a new type fallacy, right? But it makes sense, and that's why I like people that come up with new fallacies, because if there's a reason to have them, they're great, right? Informal fallacies are great. Which, by the way, I think we still need to probably go into the difference between formal and informal. But yeah, this is fun.
Oh, we can. I just got two more. The next one is the oops fallacy. This is so easy. Don't overthink it. You want to take a shot at it? Don't overthink it.
You know me. That's what I do. I overthink. The simple stuff I get wrong.
No, I have no idea what it refers to. I made a mistake, therefore what?
Is this something? Is this something? Is this when you're in an argument? Well, this goes back to like the other one. Maybe like if I was in an argument and you're doing a Socratic thing, and then I say, hey, look at, I wish I would have asked you that question instead, or something like that.
No, it's literally as simple as it sounds. The oops is also the I forgot fallacy, a corrupt argument from logos in which toward the divisive end of a discussion, debate, trial, electoral campaign period, or decision-making process, an opponent suddenly, elaborately, and usually sarcastically shams having just remembered or uncovered some salient fact, argument, or evidence. For an example, oops, I forgot to ask you, you were convicted of this same offense twice before, weren't you? So it's like it's feigning forgetting an important fact.
It's also this is called the October surprise. Actually,
that's what happens. That's one of its.
Yeah,
that's one of its names.
Because in politics, that's what happens when they specifically go out of their way to hold on to something until the election in order to make it more impactful.
And the last one that I have on here, the snow job fallacy.
Yeah, I have a tendency to commit that one probably. Martymer, these are weird. These are really oddball ones, actually.
Yeah, I haven't heard of any of them.
Yeah, Kyle does that. The snowball fallacy is when you basically overstrain things and you actually snow job. Yeah, you're basically piling on just so much stuff to tack on. Mansplaining would be a good example of snowball fallacy or snow job fallacy.
I put that in there for you, Steve.
I know you did. Yeah. I could tell already. Thank you.
Yeah,
okay, I'll take the hit on that one. Sure.
Because every non sequitur episode, everybody gets a snow job, so at least you get that when you leave.
Snow jobs for everybody.
Back over to you, Steve. You can do the informal and formal.
Yeah, let's discuss that a little bit because I think it's good to actually give a distinction between the two. These are informal fallacies, meaning that we are discussing reasons why the argument itself may not be true from the conclusion following from the premises, but they're also what's called logical fallacies. Do you want to dive into that real quick for people?
Well, a logical fallacy or a formal fallacy, that's when how do you explain this? It's when you can grant the premises, but the conclusion still doesn't follow. An informal fallacy can be fixed by adding a premise. It's usually that it is assumed that there's some premise that is so obvious that we don't even have to point it out. Like in the ad hominem, it is assumed that, well, if you're an idiot, you must be wrong.
Yeah, I would tack on like a formal logical fallacy would be in the structure itself, right? Like the other day.
Yeah, exactly.
One of our one of my favorite flat earthers, he had said something along the lines that Steve doesn't understand, quote, Monan's pollens.